yeah, going back to Anyone But Him, that was a funny one because I was listening to Barry Bonds off Graduation. It's like my favourite joint. It's a real album joint. And I just, you know, I'm a big Wayne fan, and like Ye and Wayne on a track and just a sick bass line. I was like, I need a tune like that just for my own enjoyment, not even thinking about the album. And I did it, and kind of wrote the song, and I wrote it for me, and I produced it for me, for no one else. Just as like, because I needed to hear it coming out of the speakers. And then just as we were in, I don't mean to sound flash, but we were in Paris, and we were at Fashion Week, and we're driving around, and Kanye said to me, you know, burn a CD and let me listen to your new stuff. This is back in like March, and you didn't have to ask me twice, you know what I mean? In those situations, you've got to make sure you have the blank CD, seriously. You've got to have the, like, that would be my advice to anyone. Just always have your shit in your bag, have it on a memory stick to give to someone, have it on CD, have blank CDs to put a mix together at the last minute, have your laptop, whatever. So yeah, I burnt a CD and I thought, do you know what, he might like this, I'm going to stick it on the end. So we played through all the stuff, and we got to Anyone But Him, and we just parked up outside this graveyard to go and see Jim Morrison's grave, and then it started raining, so he was like, forget it. But anyway, so the track started, and he said to the driver, and he's got this kind of almost dirty south beat to it, and it started, and it's nice and loud, and then yeah, Kanye was like, the driver was like, turn it off, turn it off. I was like, shit, I'm not feeling it. And then he looked at me and he said, I'm going to pay you the biggest compliment I can think of, which is, this is the kind of stuff I write. This is almost as good as the stuff I write.
Almost, not quite there. Not quite
so then, like, he and Fonzworth Bentley were just like this, had it on repeat, which gave me the confidence, even though it's such an odd track, when I came back to London to say, look, you know, it kind of gave me the confidence to go into the label and say, look, do you think this maybe might fit on the album? And played it to Semtex, and he was like, fine, next. You know, so once I knew I loved it, Kanye loved it, Semtex loved it, so it's like, this is going on the album. And then, the last minute, got Kanye to jump on the track.
That's awesome.
And I'd left an instrumental loop on the end. Like, always do that. That's another bit of advice to anyone. Is like, it's not about like trapping people. Don't trap rappers, but like,
give them the option.
If you leave a gap for them, then you can edit it down to just and he loved it.
We'll play a little RG extra bit there.
Outtakes.
No, it's a funny story, isn't it? In the back of a like,
it's not your everyday type story. Let's face it.
Yeah, and it just shows you gotta just take those risks and just stick that stuff on the end, and people might go.
You never know. New single,
Supernova.
I haven't heard a single bad word said about it. Every DJ in the UK, the US will not shut up talking about it.
Funny,
it's blowing up crazy.
No one's hating it. Well. No one's stepped out and said, I'm going to hate on this.
Even just for
you always get somebody that will just say, look, it's not my thing, or it doesn't work with this. I've not heard one bad word said about it.
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
Well, maybe.
Maybe.
We could sort that for you. We can start it up. We'll slag it off next week if you want.
I remember saying to someone, remind me why you've got to love the haters. I think it was Plain Pat, and he said, because they give you more shine.
Exactly.
And that is the silver lining. So when people, if anyone does come out and say Supernova's a load of beep, then I just have to think, well, at least you're talking about it.
But the single is crazy. How did that come about, and why was it chosen as your first single?
That's another funny story, because Kanye, it's like our second session together, and we weren't working on my stuff, we were working on stuff for Big Sean and Christina Milian and so on, and as you do. And
standard.
Hi, Christina.
Well, I was sitting next to this cute girl in like a tracksuit.
Don't say anymore. Don't say anymore.
We were hanging out, and I was like, so
I'm British.
What do you do? And she's like, I'm a singer. I was like, cool, me too. How do you know Kanye? Oh, well, he's just going to work on some beats for me. I'm like, yeah, me too, cool. And then she went off to do something else. I was like, who's that chick? the kind of pretty one in the tracksuit. And they were like, oh, Hudson.
You might have heard of her.
Anyway, so Kanye comes in on the second day and goes, this is a funny story. He goes, I've got a present for you. And I'm thinking, oh dear, I hope it's not a Jesus piece. I can't get away with that back in Camden. Can you imagine me walking around big joke. I hope it's not a Jesus piece. And fingers crossed it's a Jag.
Pulls up in the Bentley.
So he's like, no, I've got a present for you, and it says the engineer press play, and it was a demo of just the chorus of Supernova that he'd written, and he said, look, it's too high for me, I think you should sing it and have it on your album. And I was like, cool. And it was a lot lower than it is now. Like, I ended up speeding it up, basically hyping it up, cranking it up to those sort of stadium filling proportions, as sort of high as I could sing it. You can hear I'm suffering from that now. But, you know, that was like the whole thing of the album. We wanted to see how big we could make it sound. So I took it away, worked on the verses while, you know, simultaneously to while we were working on 808s and Heartbreak, and you know, didn't rush it, and kind of, I really didn't want to rush it. So he and I finished it in like March. That's when we actually got in the studio and said, okay, look, it's time to do my album now. So, and it was quick. You know, I'd broken up with my girl in December basically because I'd been in Hawaii playing basketball, and you know, it was tough. Last year was really tough, but you know, I broke up with my girl at the end of the year, and so I had a lot to write about. I never wanted to make some kind of, you know,
that's not a bad excuse to break up with someone. Is I need to write a heartfelt album. So this is the end.
My wisdom is don't break up with your girl in order to make good music. But if you do, make sure you write an album. So that happened, and you know, it was quite a quick thing. I had a lot to write about. I never meant to write a breakup album, but that was kind of what it was. And you know, I suppose, you know, Kanye and I had kind of similar, not issues, but just like we're in not dissimilar places in terms of like loss, you know. But what's important about both 808s and Heartbreak and Straight No Chaser is that they're both upbeat. Like you listen to Paranoid and you're tapping your foot and the beats are there, and you'll find that with Straight No Chaser as well. But you know, if you just read the lyrics on their own, you'll probably be like,
damn. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. However,
thanks, gents.
One more thing
before you leave us.
Drop time.
Nope.
What?
Every person that has an R&G interview has to tackle the quick fire round.
Oh, you can't quick. What's
no peeking. No peeking.
What's it all about?
You gotta find out.
Wow.
And it's quick fire. You gotta be quick on this one.
Okay.
Coke or Pepsi?
Neither.
What? Really?
Random.
Well, Stella or Kronenberg?
Stella.
There you go. Beef or chicken?
Chicken.
Indian or Chinese?
Indian, obviously.
Okay. KFC or Nando's?
Nando's.
Takeaway or home cooked?
Takeaway because I'm lazy.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee, obviously.
Thought it was going to be tea there, but night in or night out?
Out.
Clubbing or raving?
Clubbing.
Stage or studio?
Both. You can't take one away from me.
Okay. Concerts or clubs?
Clubs.
Curvy or skinny?
In fact, no. Concerts. Curvy.
Okay.
I don't say concert. I say gig. The concert for me is like the
stadium thing.
Yeah, Berlin's Philharmonic Orchestra.
I see. Beauty or brains?
I've got to have both, man.
You can't have both.
In what?
In the obvious.
Let's have a think.
Obviously beauty.
Good answer. Home or abroad?
You know what I mean? Abroad. This is tough.
Ska or urban?
Ska.
Old or new?
Old.
Blackberry or iPhone?
Blackberry.
MySpace or Facebook?
Ugh, Facebook.
Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Yeah, and finally, got to get this right. East or West?
Wow. East.
Oh,
no.
So close.
So close.
Depends what you're talking about.
Well,
all the true listeners to the R&G show know that we are the #1 urban show in the South. True answer is the South.